so my name is Francesca Leo. I am a flutist, I'm an educator, and I am the founder of playingwithoutpain.com, which is an interactive website and social media platform committed to connecting musicians with resources to treat and prevent performance-related injury and maintain good mental health. So I received 2 degrees in music performance. I did my undergrad at Bowling Green State University in Ohio, and I did my master's at the Manhattan School of Music in New York City. So during those 6 years that I was in music school, I was really struggling with both my mental health and performance-related pain. I often felt like I was the only one that was ever going through that. I started experiencing performance-related pain when I was age 16, which is similar to the age that most of you guys are. My junior year in college, I got to the point where I was experiencing so much pain that I couldn't play my flute for more than 5 minutes. I didn't really know what was causing it, why it was getting so bad. So that prompted me to do a research study as my honors thesis in undergrad. So I went through the institutional review board process, and we did a study on the prevalence of performance-related injury in collegiate musicians and the stress connection. We found that 86% of musicians were suffering some form of performance-related pain and in my school, and that was really shocking to me because nobody was talking about it. So that's what led me to start my website. I just wanted to create a discussion and also connect musicians with resources because that was something that I was never given when I was experiencing pain because people just weren't really talking about it. So I sought a lot of the information out myself, and that is what I seek to do now, is to provide musicians with those resources so you have them and can start with injury prevention and also making sure to take care of your mental health, which is what we'll primarily be talking about today. Because the mind-body connection is so strong, and through my healing process, I realized that a lot of my healing that I needed to do was emotional. And once I started kind of treating my mental health, I also noticed a reduction in pain. And there are several scientific studies behind the mind-body connection and why it's so important to not only treat physical pain, but also make sure that you're taking care of your mental health as well. All right, so we will talk about some stress management tips. So the first one we're going to talk about is the 5-4-3-2-1 grounding exercise. So this one, I follow a lot of therapists on Instagram, and I got most of these tips from them. So I was like, oh my gosh, that's such a good idea. So the 5-4-3-2-1 grounding exercise, the first thing is this is when you're feeling really stressed or really anxious, you kind of feel like you're out of your body. I don't know if anyone's ever experienced that before. The first thing to do is name 5 things you can see, 4 things you can touch, 3 things you can hear, 2 things you can smell, and 1 thing you can taste. Just take a few breaths. And now we're going to start by just silently labeling 5 things you can see right now. And then we're going to notice 4 things that you can touch. And you might only be able to touch 1 or 2 things right now, but maybe notice something in reach that you might be able to reach out and feel. All right, and then 3 things you can hear, and this might be a tricky one too. 2 things you can smell, and if you can't smell 2 things, you can also notice that. And then 1 thing you can taste. All right, and so this practice helps you come back to the present moment, especially if you're experiencing an anxiety or a panic attack, or you're feeling really stressed out, feeling kind of like you're having an out-of-body experience. The next one is safe and calm place imagery. So this is another mindfulness technique. So I want you to think of a place that you've been or a place that you would like to visit that feels safe and calm to you. So this could be maybe an image of a mountain range, your favorite beach, the house of your loved ones, maybe it's your own home, or another place that you have just really safe memories from. And try and visualize this place in as much detail as possible, so including your sight, smell, and sensations. Like things you can see, maybe familiar smells, maybe if it's outside, you can feel the breeze on your face. And notice how your mind and body feel when you visualize this space. And this is also helpful in times that you're feeling really, really anxious or stressed. So the next one is deep breathing, which is really self-explanatory, but I wanted to talk about it because I think most of the time when we're feeling really chronically stressed or anxious, our breathing kind of all comes up here. And especially if you play a wind instrument, that can kind of become how we are used to breathing as well, myself included, because I always take quick breaths up here and I never really breathe fully. So this is most effective when you're sitting or laying down in a comfortable position. And I encourage you at some point to try the laying down version. So you'll just be laying down on your back. And if you place a pillow on top of your belly, that can be really helpful in visualizing your belly rise and fall when you're breathing deeply and fully. So since we're all seated, we're going to just start by, you might want to put a hand on your belly. Breathe in slowly until your belly is full with air. And hold your breath for a few seconds. And breathe out slowly through your mouth until all air is expelled. You can also breathe out through your nose, so whichever one feels better. And do 2 more rounds of that on your own. All right, so this is a really calming technique that can help reduce anxiety and lower your heart rate. So the next one is box breathing, which is another breathing exercise. Box breathing is kind of similar to what we just did. This can actually help manage performance anxiety before performances. I do it before I perform, and I think it's really helpful. So we're going to breathe in for 4 counts, hold our breath for 4 counts, breathe out for 4 counts, and then hold your breath at the bottom. So it makes like this box shape. We will breathe in 1, 2, 3, 4, and hold. 2, 3, 4. Breathe out. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. And then also journaling can really help with processing some challenging emotions too. It can become a safe space for you to really say everything that you need to or want to say if you don't feel like it's safe to talk to another person about it. So really just dumping everything that's in your mind in a journal and then keeping your journal in a safe space. That's been really helpful for me this year. Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much. It was wonderful to be able to meet all of you, and I hope that we get to interact more in the future. So thanks so much for having me.
Thank you for joining us, Francesca.